Stream.
About to going live now. Hey, what's going on, fight fans? This is Sean with Boxing Social and Other Sports here with my man Timothy Knight. We're live right now, Tim. We're just waiting for some viewers to get on. Up in here, it'll let us know how many people are hopping on. Over on the right-hand screen is a chat where they can get on there and chat and ask some things. Matter of fact, let me share this right now. Share this with Twitter. Let people know they can hop on. All right, we got somebody that hopped on. Tim, we waiting for that. If anybody got any questions, go ahead and ask. Tim, tell everybody a little bit about you, about how you started boxing and stuff.
I started boxing when I was 7 years old, back in 1972. Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight champion of the world. Daddy ran the streets, drank a lot of whiskey, chased women, and acted fool. Mama cried and prayed a lot. I went to the gym. And I started boxing at the Ormsby Boys Club in Louisville, Kentucky, 1600 West Ormsby.
Okay.
And my trainer, my coach was the late, great James Biscuit Roberts, who was a middleweight back there in the late 50s and early 60s during the Sugar Ray Robinson era. And he fought the number one ranked middleweight in the world named Jimmy Beecham. Lost a 10-round split decision. And the next fight after that, Jimmy Beecham fought Sugar Ray Robinson and got knocked out in 2 rounds. And my trainer was a disciple of the late, great Fred Stoner, who had Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, a.k.a. Muhammad Ali, when he was 12 years old.
Right.
And what can I say? You know, I boxed amateur. I had about 40 fights.
Okay.
I was a Golden Gloves champion, 3-time Kentucky Junior Olympic champion, you know. And I fought in the Ohio State Fair twice. I was national runner-up.
Right.
And I had a host of amateur fights. I've been all over the country. I turned professional. Started out in the win column. Then next thing you know, I became an opponent.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're an opponent, you know, it is what it is. You got to knock them out if you want to win.
Right.
And I compiled a professional record of 17 wins and 42 losses.
Okay.
And only 5 knockouts.
You know, Tim, there was this one guy when I was coming up. I want to say this dude was from Indiana. Dude had like 175 losses. He was world known.
Oh, you're talking about Reggie Strickland.
Reggie Strickland. That's it. Did you had a chance to meet him? You know who he is?
Yeah, I know him. He know me and I know him.
I think he had like 170, 200 losses.
He just
like his whole career is built from being a journeyman.
He just didn't give a damn. He didn't try. He didn't train. I gave a damn. I tried.
Yeah.
I went overseas and beat people.
Yeah.
Didn't get it. I fought people over here in the States and didn't get it, But he just didn't try. He just didn't give a damn.
So, Tim, is there money in what he was doing? Like, he seemed like he was fighting every week.
He was content. He was content with losing and picking up a check.
Can you really get rich doing that, though?
No, you can't get rich doing that. How you going to get rich being a chronic and continuous and chronic loser? How in the hell you going to get rich doing that?
So my question is, how does the commissioners and all that even allow stuff like that to go on?
Because they are in the promoters' pockets. When they got a rising star that needs a win. We need a win, bring him on in.
Hey, listen, you're on live right now with Timothy Knight. If y'all got any questions, drop them right down there in the chat window and we'll ask Timothy. Tim, we got
But wait a minute, let me get something off my chest. I went through all of that then.
Right.
But look at me now.
Right.
I'm one of the best trainers in the world. One of the best teachers and trainers in the business.
Right.
I've trained 9 world champions.
9. Wow.
And I've been on TV 15 times, over half of them HBO. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Tim, are you saddened by the fact that HBO is going now as far as boxing?
Well, HBO Homeboys Only.
What does HBO stand for?
Homeboys Only. Yeah, I'm sad. Because see, Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, Jim Lampley, Roy Jones Jr., Max Kellerman, and Harold Letterman, they used to all see me up in the ring. I'll be in the corner. They see me in the corner. I seen them, they seen me.
Right.
I wave at them, they wave at me. And I miss coming out of the dressing room with the cameras in my face and my fighters. I miss that.
Yeah.
And HBO was good for boxing.
Right.
I think when they took HBO, they took boxing. Some of boxing left with it. because it's not the same now. Everything is switched over to Showtime and DAZN.
Right.
DAZN, you know. So
Tim, let me ask you something. You've been up there close with Larry Merchant.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Do you feel that he was purposely trying to discredit Floyd Mayweather during his prime? Because him and Floyd would go at it.
Well, see, you got to realize one thing. Larry Merchant did that to everybody because that's what he's paid for. He was a critic.
Right.
He was a critic.
Right.
He was fair, but he was firm. But he was more negative than positive.
Right.
You could have the belt. You could be them you fought your heart out. Yeah. You could have the title. He still got some mad to say. Because that's what they paid him to do.
Right. You ever said any bad things about Juan Diaz?
No, because we before he took off, I said, "Oh, I got a phone call." No, but he was saying some things on HBO about a fighter, and Mr. George Foreman got kind of angry, got kind of mad, and said, "You don't know boxing, you just see boxing." And the big boys up in New York called Mr. George to the office and said, "Look,
right,
don't do that.
Right,
that's our guy." Floyd Mayweather told Larry Merchant, "You don't know shit."
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Right.
Larry Merchant said, "You young bastard! If I was 25 years, if I was 40 years younger, I'd kick you know, da 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 da." And then the next time we seen Floyd on HBO, he actually bust between Jim Lampton and Larry Merchant and said, "I just want to say to HBO, y'all doing a good job." That's because the big boys called him up to the office up and said, "Look, the next time you do that, we made you, we'll break you."
To Larry?
No, to Floyd.
Floyd. Oh.
You take a contract and put an arm all and wipe your ties with it. We made you, we'll break you.
Wow.
You don't do that.
So you think that was part of the reason why he wanted to jump ship to the Showtime?
Well, you know, he had already reached his full potential with Showtime. I'm with HBO, so you know, the contract came to an end, it came to a close, so why not? Now, that could have been one of the reasons.
Now, do you agree Floyd Mayweather went on record saying HBO shut down because of me? When I left and came to Showtime, I took it all away. And HBO was like, "No, we were always about movies and all that. We just did sports."
Well, you know,
like we still do our football.
That's the way he thought. That's his own personal opinion. I can't measure that.
Right.
That's between him and HBO. You know, if that's how he feel, then it is what it is. But see, I remember I was watching HBO back in 1984.
Right.
When Greg Page fought Terrible Witherspoon. When Larry Holmes was the IBF, newly crowned IBF heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
And when you had Julio Cesar Chavez, you had Azuma Nelson, Greg Page, Terrible Tim Witherspoon, Pinkman Thomas, Larry Holmes, Trevor Burbick.
Right.
I mean, David Hand Grenades Bay.
Right.
Tyrell Biggs. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So, I mean, how can HBO revive around him?
Right.
When HBO was in action when he was a child.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. So, Tim, you mentioned Tim Witherspoon.
Yeah.
So last night I watched, I believe it's his son Chaz Witherspoon. Is that his son?
That's his nephew.
Chaz Witherspoon fought against
I didn't know he was still fighting.
Well, he's a 5-day replacement for the Russian, or he's from Ukraine, but he called him Russian, Usyk.
Did he win?
No, Usyk moved up from cruiser. Usyk was whipping everybody at cruiserweight. Now he moved up to heavyweight.
Yeah. Alexander Usyk?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, is it Alexander? I know it's Usyk. I forget his first name, but he ended up, he was putting a beating on Chaz, and they stopped at like 7th, 8th round.
Yeah, Chaz need to quit, man. He could get hurt.
Yeah. So, when it comes to fighters like that, man, I haven't seen not one son, nephew, or whatever live up to their father's hype of the legacy they built.
Yeah.
Do you know any father's sons team? Because I remember coming out when Hector Camacho came out with his son. I was like, okay, let's see
his son could fight. He could fight.
And
until he met Jesse James Lehi.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't. I was at home in the cheap seats watching on TV. I remember a whole lot of stuff about boxing, a lot of fights.
Right.
You know?
And that was during the time that I thought Francisco Bajado was going to be something.
Francisco Pachito Bajado. I remember him. I met him. I met him. Floyd Mayweather Sr. was training him. He was slick. He fought for main events.
Yeah. And then he ended up going down the pipe also.
Yeah.
Man, there was just so many good fighters in the early 2000s.
Well, you know what happened. You know why he went down, don't you?
Why?
He went down because Floyd Mayweather wasn't training him no more. See, Oscar De La Hoya told Daddy Mayweather, he said, "Look, you can't train two Mexicans." Floyd, Daddy Mayweather said, "Huh?" He said, "You can't train me and another Mexican."
Right.
He said, "I'll tell you what you do. I'll give you $100,000 if you shake him." Before De La Hoya can finish the sentence, he's on the phone. Well, Francisco, has been fun. Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this. Does Floyd Mayweather Sr., does he get the credit he deserves? Because they're like, well, the only good person he ever trained was his son.
Let me tell you something.
Really do anything
let me tell you something about Daddy Mayweather. Daddy Mayweather, whether you give him the credit or not, he gonna snatch it. Because when he put the mics on him, he gonna tell you he's the greatest trainer of all time.
Right.
So if don't nobody else want to believe it, he gonna believe it.
Right.
And that's his own personal opinion, and that's all that count. That's all that mattered to him. Because you know, and he's an excellent trainer. I know Floyd personally.
Okay.
You know, and I've been
when
around.
Is he doing all that rhyming and stuff he does on TV?
Well, he didn't do it. He didn't do it around me. You know, we just talked. You know, I met him and I hung out with him for about 2 weeks.
Did he ever
in Vegas?
Did he ever do to you like he do those other trainers? What's up, Tim? What?
Now he tried to throw a little punch. Well, when I was around him, I was still fighting.
Okay.
I was in camp in Vegas out there sparring with Dominic Gwynn and David Tua. So I ran into him at the we were staying at the Santa Fe Hotel on Rancho.
Okay.
And he was there every day with his girlfriend, playing the slot machines.
Yeah.
And that's how, and he told me during that time if Ronnie needed the keys because the holiday was coming up. And he said he know that the Nevada Partners gym was gonna be closed. Sugar Ray Leonard and Richard Steele's gym, Nevada Partners. And he said if y'all need a gym to train, I got the keys to Top Rank.
Right.
So that's how I met him. That was a long time ago, man. That was back in I want to say about 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tim, you just mentioned Richard Steele.
Mm-hmm.
How great of a ref was he? Do you think he did a great job reffing?
He was one of the all-time greatest. Yeah, I think he was a Hall of Fame. He should be a Hall of Fame referee. I'm pretty sure he is.
Because I used to hear a toss-up. They said between him and Mills Lane.
Well,
Mills Lane, was he pretty good?
They both were good.
Yeah.
But Richard Steele was the one you saw back in the day with the afro and the big bow tie. Mm-hmm. And he refereed a lot of WBC world title fights that was pretty much promoted by Don King during that time.
Right.
And all the fights that took place in Vegas. Richard Steele was always the man on deck.
Yeah.
And
I think Mills Lane really got his, to me, what attracted people to Mills Lane, not only was he a short fellow, but his voice was so raspy and all that. People just love me like, man, don't mess with that little man.
Well, he was a good referee. Don't forget about
who else?
Carlos Padilla. Remember Carlos Padilla? Las Vegas, he refereed Ali Frazier, Thriller in Manila.
Pull him up.
Carlos Padilla. Don't forget about him.
All right, let me pull
he refereed a lot of.
Yeah, I remember that dude.
Yeah.
He looked like he was on an episode of The Love Boat.
Yeah. Yeah, he refereed Ali Frazier.
Yeah. Okay.
So he was like one of the original Vegas referees.
Right.
Him and Richard Steele.
So
back then, that's all you saw between those two.
Right.
And then every now and then they might slide that black guy in there. Remember the black guy that had the receding hairline and the mustache that refereed Ali Holmes? You remember him?
Probably if I seen him. And what do you think about this guy, Steve Willis?
He's very energetic and he's interested. I like him because he's involved. And he ain't gonna let nobody get hurt on his watch. And he very always down to the nearest detail. Yeah. That man, Steve Willis, referee Steve Willis, he does. I like the way he throw down. He'll save your life. If you get hurt,
Yeah.
you ain't not gonna go down on his watch.
They said they love because the eyes and facial expressions.
Yeah.
And then he'd be so into it. But I think that makes for a great ref when
you got to be involved.
Yeah.
Now, see, I'll tell you who else can referee.
Who's that?
Me. I've been doing a lot of refereeing in the gym with the amateurs.
Mm.
And I've always thought about becoming a referee, for the USA boxing. And then if they put me on the commission and give me a shot, I'll probably take that too. And that'll probably catapult me. Maybe you just don't never know.
Right.
And I'm real good friends with Tony Weeks. And I remember Kenny Bayless back when I was sparring with Julian Jackson.
Kenny Bayless,
We was in Vegas. Back then he was the inspector.
Right.
Now he, like the Jeffersons, he done moved on up. He's he working big fights now. And I know Tony Weeks. We've been real cool, But I've been refereeing in the gym when the kids spar.
Yeah.
And I do what I do.
Tim, I think both jobs are hard. When I see
it's a responsibility.
Judging and refereeing. Out of those two, being a ref in the ring or being a judge ringside, which one do you think's harder?
I think judging is harder because judging get you cussed out. Refereeing, your responsibility is for both boxers, whether they're amateurs or whether they're pros, whether they're small kids or grown men. And the purpose of it is you got to know boxing in order to be involved in boxing. You got to know it.
Right.
And to know it is to be involved, to have experienced it. And you should be able to and you got to have you should be able to look and see and tell when a man is hurt.
Right.
And when he can't continue. And stop the damn fight.
Right.
Don't just let it keep all night like Lionel Richie all night long. Just let it keep on rolling. You're going to get somebody hurt or get somebody killed.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And that's what's wrong with these referees, man. They don't stop fights fast enough.
Right.
You see a guy get hit with a shot.
Yeah.
If he's staggering, like he been drinking, and he turn his back, that should let him know that the man is hurt. He can't fight.
Right.
He don't need no 8 count. Stop it. If he's been hit with a numerous accumulation of shots.
Which is kind of sad to say, like the video we watched earlier with Patrick
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You got to know boxing. You got to know a man's temperament. I don't care what his record is. I don't care what he ranked. You got to know his temperament.
Right.
If he get hit with a good shot and he hurt, you got to either stop the action, give him an 8 count, or just shut it down.
And you know what people will say to him? They'll say stuff like, but what about Arturo Gatti fights where he was getting dropped and knocked down? He gets right back up and knocked him out. What if the ref never gave him a chance?
Well,
you got those people. Yeah.
Throwback. He was a throwback.
Right.
So I was in camp with Arturo. I shot pool with him. I bowled with him.
Was he good at either one?
Boy, he could shoot some pool, and boy, he bowled 10 strikes in a row.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Arturo Gatti was doing that.
He could shoot pool, and he bowled. We went to the bowling alley. Yeah. He bowled 10 strikes in a row.
Wow. He was talented.
I was in camp with him just at one time.
What fight was that for?
When he fought Ivan Robinson rematch.
Ivan Robinson,
he had Ronnie Shields
out of Philadelphia.
Ronnie Shields was training. And Ronnie had him boxing. And the first time Ivan stole him, here we go.
Back to brawling.
Right back to brawling. And the crowd was loving it. It was a blind man sitting over there. You know what he said?
What's that?
You see that shit?
Yeah. Tim, we got somebody that finally came through the first question.
Okay.
With Solo Monosfied. He said, what's up with Juan Diaz?
Juan is retired. Juan ran off. He done rolled off into the sunset. And left me on the side of the road holding the sign. We'll work past for food.
Solo Monosfied. Diaz won his last fight. Did Juan won his last fight?
We won 7 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, Diaz won his last fight. So I guess the question is, why retire if you're winning?
Well, he acclimated an injury that permitted him to have to retire. He acclimated an injury. I can't go into details about it because it's a conflict of interest.
Right.
But he acclimated an injury that prompted him to retire.
And for those
we won 7 in a row. 7. We was right there on the HBO circuit.
Right.
Gonna fight on the undercard of Terrence Crawford versus John Molina. We was gonna fight Raymundo Beltran, that badass Mexican.
Yeah.
And that's the fight that I was hungry for, boy.
Yeah, because Beltran can fight.
I was hungry for that fight.
Right.
That was like Ali Frazier. That fight was supposed to happen.
Right.
But it didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those y'all that out there that don't know, Juan Diaz has his own trucking company.
Oh yeah, he's doing good.
He's doing
man.
good financially.
He's doing good. He living on accident, man. I mean, he's extremely successful, and he's spending a lot of time with his family, like a man should, raising his family, raising his kids, spending time with his family, and he's him and his brother Jose running the trucking company. And they just making money. What can I say?
Tim, they didn't bring you on to drive trucks?
Nah, I don't want to go on. I don't want to fool with them. I heard about them Diaz brothers.
Tim, have you ever drove any big trucks?
Yeah, I drove a 42 footer. Yeah.
Okay.
I drove a 42 footer.
But it ain't big.
It ain't. Well, I could be a trucker because I like to drive.
So you can drive 8, 9, 10 hours and
Yes. I do it when I go home for Christmas. I take 59 north to Texarkana.
Yeah.
I come out of Texarkana. I take 30 east to Little Rock, and then I switch over to 240 east to Nashville. Then I take 65 north to Louisville.
Wow.
I get home in 14 hours. Sometimes I do it in 13.
Fight fans, you're out there listening. Make sure you throw your questions in a comment section. Tim Knight, all the way from Louisville, was the most famous boxer from out of Kentucky.
Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
Second,
Jimmy Ellis.
Jimmy Ellis, throwback fighter, yeah.
Then third, Greg Page.
I met Greg Page before.
Yeah, that's my best.
I met Greg at Bill Street. He was at the fights in Bill Street. Just spectator. I'm sitting up there and I'm watching the fights.
In Memphis?
Yeah, in Memphis. I turn and look. I said,
you know why?
I said, Greg Page? He said, yeah, that's me. This before he got hurt.
Yeah, you know why he was there?
Because
Don King used to promote fights in Nashville and Memphis, and Greg was one of the trainers for Don. So he might have had somebody fighting on the card.
Okay. So we got another question here. What gym do you train at now, and are you still at Savannah?
I'm at the Savannah. I'm at the Savannah gym that's owned by Coach Forrest Washington, because Mr. Savannah, Daddy Willis Savannah sold the gym to Coach Forrest Washington.
And from my understanding is Coach Willie's Savannah, he has another gym.
Yeah, he got a gym down on Bissonnette and Fondren.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tim, if people want to come there and train with you, what hours are you there?
I'm there in the evening from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
That's right. Teaching and reaching.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Tim, I've been up there a couple of times, and I'm gonna tell you that 5 to 8 is a hotbed of fighters, man. A lot of people there during that time.
Yeah, a lot of fighters, man. A lot of kids, a lot of,
Do y'all spar every day or just certain days?
They spar pretty much every other day.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that, maybe?
No.
Thursdays?
Tuesday, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
All right, in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
It just depends, Sometimes we have other gyms, other clubs come for sparring, and sometimes the kids, they just spar with each other. It just depends on what they got coming up.
Right.
Now they gonna be on the road next week because they got a Sugar Burt tournament coming up, and I think it's in Louisiana.
Okay.
The Sugar Burt tournament, which is a national tournament.
All right. So will you still be working next week, or? I'll
be in the gym rolling with them, working and training them.
Right.
One of my teammate, Aaron Shackles in Louisville, Kentucky, he's got the 5-Star Boxing Academy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a regular patron at the Sugar Burt tournament.
Right.
And he always come back with about 5 or 6 champions.
Tim, the other day I was there. I was introduced to that guy, Udi. Is it Udi?
Udi Picardo.
Yeah, but I think he lost the fight. I watched the fight the other day. And
Udi is
he looked good sparring.
Udi is an underachiever. He's an underachiever.
Yeah.
Because he don't want to achieve.
Udi
done lost 2 10-rounders in 5 months.
Right.
He's managed and managed and agentized by Coach Forrest Washington. And he went up there to Philadelphia and dropped the ball in a 10-rounder.
Right.
That was televised.
Right.
He lost it in San Antonio on Roy Jones Jr. show down there. So I don't know when it comes to that managerial auspice and the contract agreement. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes on that.
What's the status of Roy Jones Jr.? What is he doing now?
Roy Jones is a manager and a promoter.
Manager and promoter?
Yeah. Real good friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, Roy Jones. I met him on the HBO circuit.
Oh, that's what I was about to ask you.
When I had Juan Diaz.
That's what I was going to ask you. So what was it like being around Roy Jones?
Well, the thing about it was, it didn't faze me.
I mean, was he cool behind the scenes? Is he stuck up? Does he talk to you?
No.
What kind of person is he?
Down to earth.
Okay.
Cool. I gave him a business card. I said, you need a trainer, let me know.
Have you ever been to Pensacola where he's from?
No.
Or drove
I trained down in, I've been down at West Palm Beach and Vero.
Okay.
I've been to Miami and all down through there, but never up top.
Another fighter out of Florida, Ronald Winky Wright. You get a chance to meet him?
Yep, I met him at J. Prince Gym.
What was he like? What was he here? Getting in some work?
He was there. He was just showing his face.
So
I shook his hand. I said, "How you doing, champ?"
So he wasn't there to work or anything. He was just visiting.
Yeah, I said, "How you doing, champ?" He real short. I thought he was tall.
Really?
Yeah, he was shorter than I was. He was shorter than me. I'm 6'1". He might have been like 5'8", 5'9", something like that.
Yeah, because he was fighting at 154 pounds.
Yeah, he like 5'9". I shook his hand, spoke to him, said, "How you doing, champ?"
Yeah, slick southpaw. A lot of people like to watch Winky Wright. Then, of course, out of Florida, you had the Andre Berto. You had a chance to see Andre.
Back when I was fighting, I spent a lot of time over in Paris, France. That promoter over Michel Acaris.
Mm-hmm.
They liked me. They liked the way I throw down.
Yeah.
And I trained over and I fought on a couple of shows. And during the time I was over, Winky Wright was over too.
Okay.
Because they on the promotional thing and the managerial thing, they split the contract.
Right.
So they had Winky over there fighting and building him up. And then once they got to the championship level, they brought him back over here, and then he became world champion. But I never did see him over there.
Right.
But he was over at the same time I was.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
That was back in '94.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, you got Andre Berto. I'm thinking out of Florida.
I ain't never seen him.
You have Keith Thurman.
I ain't never seen him. I don't know.
Was Rigondeaux originally from Florida?
Now Rigondeaux was fighting. He's a Guantanamo Bay Cuba by way of Miami. And that's stable of fighters they had down there.
Right. Then how do you end up getting here to Houston and work with y'all?
He was that was the manager. Louis de Cubas. And I used to train Rigondeaux. I helped Ronnie with him. You didn't know that, did you?
I did hear about that.
Ronnie was out of town and he left Rigondeaux under my protection and my responsibility.
Yeah.
I wrapped his hands and I put him on the pads. And the first thing he said, "Wow, this guy," he told in Spanish, he told Renato, "Wow, this coach is fast." Yeah. Because he's fast.
Right.
But I'm fast too.
Right.
So I was able to stay with him. And we gelled just like that.
A lot of people that saw him train here said that Rigondeaux, out of all the people in Houston, had the most quickest reflexes there was. Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah, but I got up there and put him to the test. Because he didn't know. I knew he was fast because I seen him. I watched him work.
Right.
But when I got up there and worked with him, it like blew his mind.
Right.
Because he didn't think that he's walk around thinking that he's so fast that can't nobody keep up with him.
Right.
But I shocked him.
Yeah.
And you know how I got fast, don't you?
How?
Oh man, I never did tell you that story. Oh man. Back in the 70s, I went on a camping trip with the boys club.
Yeah.
Messed around there, man, got bit by a copperhead. Yeah. Been fast ever since. Another Spider-Man story, man.
The copperhead story, man. Ask y'all questions. Look, we got some more viewers on. Listen, ask y'all questions for Timothy Knight. Put it down there in the chat section what questions you have for Timothy Knight. So a lot of good guys came from out of Florida.
Oh yeah. Johnny Beast Mugabe.
Oh, Mugabe is from Florida.
Yeah, he's from Kampala, Uganda.
Yeah.
Remember Idi Amin?
Yeah.
Well, that's where he's from. But he migrated to Florida. And he was managed by Mickey Duff.
Right.
The late Mickey Duff from London, England.
Right.
Yeah. He was, and when he fought Marvelous Marvin Hagler, he was 20-0.
Yeah.
24 knock. He was 24 years old, 24-0, 24 knockout.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Cuban fighters coming up from Florida, we have Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz 2.
Yeah.
First fight was a great fight. And at one point I said, Ortiz got Deontay hurt. Now I think Deontay was hurt, but he weathered the storm. Yeah. And then later on he came in and stopped him. What did you think about that first fight?
That first fight was a war.
Yeah.
It scared me. I thought Deontay Wilder was gonna get knocked out that night.
You thought the same? Okay.
He came so close, but you know what? You know why Ortiz fell short? Because he didn't trust his conditioning and he gave up on himself. He gave up. See, you know, my trainer Biscuit used to always tell us.
What's that?
Tired is in the mind. If you tell yourself you tired, that's what you'll be. You got to push through it. That's what I admire so much about Evander Holyfield. Yeah. They used to beat him down to his knees and he'd just come up.
Wow. And
I said, Holy, how is it that you was able to do that? He said, because I believed in myself. Right. And he said, I didn't want to go lead. I wanted to come to the ring champ and I wanted to leave champ. I didn't want to leave a loser. When he fought the late Burt Cooper, Burt Cooper had him drunk.
Right.
You knew the fight was up.
Right.
All of a sudden, Holyfield just rose. Last minute, just came up deep down in his gut.
Right.
Brought up the best in him.
Okay.
Stayed, was world champion forever.
Right.
And made millions. Stayed on top. He got all he could get out of himself because he believed. He trusted his condition and he believed.
Right.
Because see, you can train as hard as you want to train.
Right.
But 90% of boxing, once you get in shape, it ain't got nothing to do with that. It's what your mindset and what's in your heart.
Right.
And what's on the inside got to come out. If you climb that ring, you tell yourself you tired, that's what you'll be
tired.
But if you tell yourself I got to make it, then that's what you'll do.
I'll make it.
I got to fight back. I got a whole lot left. That's what you'll do. Right. Whatever your mindset is, that'd be the main foundation of the outcome of the fight.
Right. All right. Listen, there y'all have it, fight fans. We're here with Timothy Knight, man. Thank y'all for your questions, checking them out. Tim, we got to do this again in a few weeks, man. If you can come back, man, and let's get the fans involved again, and definitely we'll have more fight questions.
Well, what you have to do is you have to call my secretary.
Yeah.
And then she'll call me, and then I'll call somebody.
There y'all have it, fight fans. Thanks for joining, checking us out. Till next time, we're signing out.
Yeah. It was all right.